My name is Don Bailey. I'm a former United States Congressman from the state of Pennsylvania. We have a severe institutional problem in our country, and something really needs to be done to reform the judicial system. Issues having to do with disclosure, issues having to do with corruption. We have an institutional imbalance, and the United States Congress needs to investigate, and it needs to address it in the interest of the nation's broader concerns.
All right. Well, first, I'm honored to be here, and thank you for letting us use your office.
Thank you.
When I first ran into problems with a federal judge, I thought it was only me. How naive was I? And now I've, of course, found that it seems to be everywhere. Your problems more directly have been with the federal courts. How long have you realized that it was that we had this crisis?
I really first began to realize it roughly 20 years or so ago. I was a statewide official, Auditor General. I ran afoul of Richard Thornburgh, who was the governor at the time, when my investigators disclosed that some of his top people were involved in a truck scam. Hubco Ford, it was called. It's a very complex issue, but it has to do with Bud Dwyer, incidentally, and Bud was a friend of mine, and his death. But in the process of doing so, I learned of this corruption, and I never realized the extent how pervasive and difficult it was until after I left office. I became actually a civil rights lawyer, and in my practice began to represent a lot of lower-level state officials, particularly state policemen, who were reporting on public corruption. And it was at that time that I learned of how severe this problem really is. We have some crooked federal judges out there. There's no other way to say it. They're corrupt, and we need to do something in the system because the power that they have through their control of the lawyers' disciplinary system and the licensure of attorneys really has our nation pretty much by the throat. And I don't think we realize it as a people.
How in the world can we wake people up about this?
I don't know of what you can do. The trouble with a question like that is that it requires so much work and so much attention, particularly in the public arena. But let me emphasize, you have a news media. Most of the people in the media are good people that want to do the right thing. But their focus is largely on a quick story and a quick response. The written media has largely died out. That's where you get more detail, more real investigative journalism. What happens behind closed doors, particularly in the court system, is largely hidden. And we don't get a chance to see what goes on that does not get examined. There's also a tremendous power in the court system by the control of attorneys and attorney licensure and conduct that finds its way through to the clients that are affected. The legal profession is by and large oppressed. I don't have a real high opinion. I mean, there's some great lawyers out there, and I admire some of the ones that are trying to do the right thing. But the profession is cowardly in many ways, and attorneys will not speak up and speak out for their clients or speak up against the system. If you do speak up against the system, you are attacked and you're oppressed and you're investigated, and you can't really say what you think. The First Amendment exists everywhere except in the court system.
That one down in a second.
Oh yeah, I was wishing that I reported it.
Don, probably the last thing I want to talk to you about is what you're going through right now, but let's talk about it now, and then we'll go back and cover some other things. As I understand it, there are people in the state of Pennsylvania trying to take away your law license.
Well, particularly this process really started with a federal judge named Connor, okay? Christopher C. Connor. And, I don't mind saying it right on the, the man has some severe problems, I think emotional problems. You need only see some amending orders he's written to see that. He wrote an opinion in a case where Stephen Conklin versus Warrington Township down in York, Pennsylvania. In a nutshell, it was a racist opinion.